Wow. I've written for as long as I can remember. As soon as I could hold a pen properly, I used to write.
I've always wanted to write a book. That was a desire that I've always had. But to be honest, never ever thought that it was going to happen for me. It was just one of those dreams that I ended up pushing to the back of my mind, stuffing down, and believed it was never ever going to be happening.
Because my story was quite difficult to write, and at the time I was dealing with the truth myself, I took an easy route. I took recording it all on a dictaphone or writing notes down, collaborating with another writer, and was able to form the book together. And that's how it resulted in just back and forth working together and feeling it out and seeing what worked best and what was my style, and still kept who I was. And the writer was able to adapt to that and help produce my autobiography.
For me, it was so liberating. Firstly, to be able to, publish my first book. When you opened, when you held your book for the first time, and just the fresh, clean, crisp pages, and you turn it around and your ISBN number and your website and everything, and realizing that, your dream of being a writer, has actually come to pass. For me, it was just so liberating.
To publish your book is as if you're a woman and you give birth, because it's something you've dreamt of, it's something you've worked hard on, and when you actually see the finished product, there's just nothing like it. You can't describe it. It's just, there are no words.
I met with Open Scroll Publications, and it was an opportunity for me to be able to have my book published. And so that opportunity excited me and fueled my passion to write even further. I know that if I hadn't met with Open Scroll Publications, the book that I've written, which is called What If, would never have been written, and it would have been a dream that would never have come true for me.
Working with Open Scroll was, it was a phenomenal experience, because working with these guys, they're authors, so they understood what it was I was trying to do. I didn't feel as if I was just a statistic, just another author, They actually cared about my project, and I felt that come across. So working with them, they took the time to hear what I was saying and to hear what I wanted to impart to my readers. And they held my hand and literally walked me through the whole process.
One of the things that I love about Open Scroll is the bespoke. It's not the same for everybody, and it's that ideal, personalised service that comes with it. So Open Scroll adapted to what I needed, and I was good with that, especially coming from publishers already. It was that personal touch, it was that matter of you care, and that's what made me move over, was the fact that I knew that what I wanted to accomplish, I'd be able to, and there not be a massive price tag to it.
One of the things was the cost. As an author, you don't necessarily have an awful lot of money. And I think that sometimes publishers exploit that fact, but Open Scroll, they seem to care about that, and they have publishing packages that suit your budget, and also the time frame was incredible. It was in a couple of weeks I was actually looking at my finished book. I was blown away, really, I was blown away.
If I could do it, then anybody can do it. I would always say never let that mountain seem bigger than it actually is. At the beginning, when we're going to do something, whether it's going on a diet, whether it's writing, whatever it is, it always seems far bigger of a challenge than it actually is. Once you start writing, then you find then that actually, my gosh, I can do this. The biggest battle for me was that initial start. How can I write? I haven't got anything to say. Nobody's going to want to hear it. Where do I even start from? But the minute I made that mind up to say, you know what, regardless, I'm going to put pen to paper, I was able to do that. So don't give up. Don't let those thoughts take over. turn it around and use it for its good, which is that you can accomplish anything you put your mind to.
When you're an author, it's something you're born to do. So try your best not to worry so much about the message. Get what you can down on paper. You can always edit it later, and you can always think about how you're going to put it later. The point is, it's not often that people find the reason why they were born. When you're an author, you know what you're on this earth for, so I would encourage you to go for it. There are thousands of books out there, but they don't all have the quality that you would bring. So please go for it. I encourage you to do so.
You know, for writers, for true writers, it's so liberating, because the last thing you want, you know, writing is hard enough as it is. To be creative, to be focused, to be putting down on that page exactly what you want to say. It's hard enough to be creative. The last thing you need is to be agonizing over what's going to happen when you finish your masterpiece, when you finish your work, what's going to happen. Now, you just don't have to have that concern. You will not be rejected by Open Scroll. You will be published. So you can just get on with the business of just being creative. The world needs to hear your voice. We need that book. We need that novel. I love books. I love poems. I love language. I love prose. And you know, I can just sit there reading stuff that's skillfully written. Even magazines, if it's skillfully written, I'll rip the page out and keep it, because you know, I treasure language. I look at some of the stuff from, you know, Fitzgerald, you know, The Great Gatsby, and I can't understand how somebody in the 20s had such flamboyant language. I look at some of the books from the Harlem Renaissance, and I'm reading that stuff and I'm saying, man, they could have written that in 2016. How did they, you know, Shakespeare and these guys, their skill with language, to me, it's just, I just have such a passion. So to be able to kind of, you know, pull up and sidle up next to these guys and start to write my stuff and release my stuff, and to see others able to do it, it's just a joy. You know, there are some true writers out there that really need to be heard. No longer do we have to be a reality TV star who didn't even write the book and their book will appear on the shelf because it's all a money game. Now we can have some real quality, some real literary geniuses, language, you know, wordsmiths that can come and now present to the world and offer the world, you know, some real treasures. And Open Scroll Publication, you know, aims to be at the forefront of that move that allows real writers to write and to be published. You know, so for those that are out there, you know, we are so amenable, we are so approachable. It just takes contacting us either by phone or by email, and we'll immediately get back in touch with you, begin to talk to you about your project.
As I explained before, I've written a few books in my time, but the book that I want to talk to you today about is Knocking on Heaven's Door. This was one of the books that I did with Open Scroll, and the book is about prayer. So it's about how to communicate with your Creator. Now in life, you go through life and most of us feel lost at some point or the other. And so I wrote the book for people who really want to get back in touch with the person who made them, to work out what they're supposed to be doing with themselves and what they're supposed to be doing in life. There are so many times when we go through life, we see disasters happening here, there and everywhere, and we don't really know what to do about it. So I've written Knocking on Heaven's Door to say, well, you can actually pray, but you can learn how to pray effectively. And that is why I wrote the book. And Open Scroll made the job a pleasure to do.
The title of my book is The Only Arranged Marriage. And the book is basically my autobiography. It's my journey from childhood all the way up, from encountering abuse, culture, tradition, all that involved, leaving home under police protection, then getting involved with the guys that I got involved with, the lifestyle I was living, to then that moment and that pinnacle where my life completely turned around, and that's where I was able to produce the book.
My book, What If, is a collection of poetry and reflections and self-affirmations, really just to encourage people just to look at their lives and look at where they feel that they're not developing as well as they think they could. It's a book about looking at the things that hold you back, that hinder you in your journey of life, and just giving you tools to be able to move forward, to become the best person that you can be.
This book it's called It's Your Time, Your Generation Awaits You. So the book is a call to action. It gives you the permission, it gives you the license to just, I know you're always giving to other people, I know you're always pouring into other people, but this book gives you the license and the permission to just go on a journey with yourself, to just invest in yourself for a little while, just to reflect on what you're really about, the gifts that are really inside of you, and to just consider the fact that there are things that you were meant to accomplish in this life that nobody else can accomplish, because these things were uniquely assigned to you.
Yes, I am. I'm currently writing my second book now, and looking forward to Open Scroll publishing that later on this year.
Watch this space.